Welcome to NDT with your host, me, Peter Lancelotti, and our guest today is Kristy McClellan of AFYRA. Yes! Oh my God. I almost feel like I'm in the presence of royalty here. Um, I
And
can't
hosted by
say.
Peter Lancelotti of Peter Lancelotti.
Well, Kristy, it's just been such an honor to work with you. I was so honored that you asked me to do those two songs with you, particularly your original song, which I know you had a particular name. It's all made up, and you just kind of said, write the lyrics and sing them any way you want. Well, okay. How long did it take me? 3, 4 weeks? Because it
Yeah,
had to be right.
I told you there was no deadline. I kept telling you there's no deadline.
Well, I
Uh,
had to be right. It just had to
yeah,
be right.
yeah.
So, I have to start by saying someone with a musical genius such as yourself, which I just can't say enough of. And as you know, my last guest, Joe Boo, also puts you right up there with movie soundtrack
I
people
know.
like
I was blown
Tangerine
away by
Dream.
that. Yeah,
I'll have
Jim,
his people call
welcome.
your people. Yes, I'll have his people call your people. So, you describe yourself as creating the soundtrack of our lives and being very genre non-conforming. Can you tell me
Genre fluid.
what?
Genre fluid.
Genre fluid. Okay. Gender fluid, genre fluid. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your approach to creating music that pretty much transcends traditional boundaries?
Um, I don't know. That's a
I don't
question.
ask normal questions.
Yeah. Well, basically, I take what I see in my own life, and it's not just necessarily seeing things. It's emotions, what I feel about things happening in our world around us. For example, my album Fractured was my third album I ever released, but it was my first really concepty kind of album, and it was based on what things that fracture people in their lives, whether it's fractured relationships, fractured households, fractured employment, fractured economy, fractured political. It's basically what it's all about. Things that are demons, whether they're either within or without us, that type of thing. And that kind of set the things in motion for me to do basically things that I find interesting or find fascinating or something that I worry about or something that I'm toiling about. Anything I get stuck on in my head is what I go for.
Your compositional sophistication is, I just can't say enough about it, extraordinary.
Well, thank you.
The opening in something I was listening to, well, I've been listening to almost everything of yours over and over again, but I can't say it in Spanish. A Mother's Lament.
Yeah.
With the audience murmuring like as if we're about to begin a classical concert and you can hear the violins tuning up and all that. It really transports the listener into like this sacred space. How do you craft these immersive cinematic music experiences?
Well, it all comes from feeling. I when I mean, it happens a couple different ways. If I start a song, I start working on something, and uh, it may invoke a feeling that I get. And of course, at the time I wrote that, that was the first song I ever released after my daughter passed away in December of last year, not last year, a year ago December, and it really put me in a dark space, as it would anybody. And prior to that, I had released like 5 of the 7 albums in the year before that I have released right now. When she passed away, my creativity dried up, and I was in a really dark place. But I knew I wanted to write something that brought out the feelings of how I felt about her passing, and why I added the audience at the beginning and the orchestral tuning up. I think it's just because the piece is so orchestral. I don't think there's one guitar in there. It's all orchestra and chorus, the choir. But
It's a beautiful piece.
thank you. But yeah, it was going to be my last song. I wasn't going to do any more past that. But then I did some others since then, but no album. But I am now working on an album. But
Fantastic.
yeah,
Fantastic, and I can't wait for it.
you're gonna have to wait. It's gonna be a while. I'm not rushing. I'm not. I'm not forcing it. It's just coming natural, and it's going to be a lot more raw than the last one. Any of the ones I've done before. It's going to be a lot more raw, a lot more guitar, a lot more wake up calls in it. I like
Okay, all right.
I like putting when you're listening to one of my pieces and all of a sudden it just goes boom, and it's like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that. I love that. I love doing
Those
that to people.
serendipitous moments.
Yeah. But it's got
You
to
know,
fit though. You can't just throw it in there and just surprise people, scare the crap out of them. You got to put it in there at the right point. And if you don't put it at the right point, they don't feel what you're trying to make them feel. But my thing is I want them to feel what I'm feeling, and I want the song to reflect what I'm feeling.
well,
Very
the first time I did when we did the collaboration of "It's All Made Up," that one was unusual for me because the way you had presented the song to me with the arrangement that you gave me was not how it ended up,
right.
and and you kept telling me, "Don't think about it that way. Just do
Yeah,
it. Just sing it the way you sang it, and don't
yeah,
worry about it." And then when I heard the final version, I thought, "Wow, that was really cool," because I just
yeah,
didn't expect some
yeah,
of the areas that you added the lead guitar to when you tapped on Kevin Smith,
yeah.
and
Kevin Smith is
it was
wonderful.
really like it was really unusual. And I know you thought I think you said to me that I was like the easiest person to work with. Not really. Um, when we did Sweet Transvestite, you said, "Wow, that was really easy." Yeah, well,
Well,
I
it
did that
was
in a
because,
band.
well, I mean, the roadmap was already set for that one. There wasn't a lot of changes done other than I orchestrated some of it, made it sound like a big band kind of thing going on, and we already knew how that
I
song
was
was
glad
going.
you did not have me do the scream for Janet because that I don't I could not have done that.
Yeah.
She did it with a guitar.
I would have liked to have
"Ah!"
gotten. I would have liked to have gotten Christina Vox to do that.
We were just talking about her, Joe and I, yesterday. So, okay, in terms of your artistic generosity, as a collaborator, how do you handle creative partnerships? And like you got to kind of pick and choose who's going to show respect for the creative progress, collaborative
Yeah.
process.
Well, you
Because,
make it sound like people are knocking down my door to work on my projects. That's not the case.
well,
I have to go
I
looking
mean, all
for
right,
them.
I'm going to tell something to the audience that you did tell me. I wasn't her first choice for Sweet Transvestite, but that's because she didn't really know what I did.
Well, the reason I said that is because uh, I won't mention the name because they're going through some tough times right now, but they actually came to me to do this song for the Halloween of the previous year. And I already had the basics of it laid out. And Halloween was coming up, and I said, "Yeah, you still want to do this?" They said, "No, I don't have time to do it now." So it just sat for a year. Well, then when I started talking to you, and I thought, "Well, you sing, let's see how you do," and it was perfect. you, you did it perfect. I mean, you couldn't have asked
Thank
for a
you.
better. Uh,
Well, I'm not his cousin. I'm not Tim Curry's cousin.
yeah, but yeah, I as far as any other collaborations go, usually I go seeking people. Like I said, they don't come knocking down my door,
Well,
but
Joe might. Joe Boo might.
oh, I'd love it if he did, but I know he's busy, but I got a lot of time. So if he wants to come in and do something, I have a song, it's not even roughed out yet, that I got in mind that I want to write. Sometimes I come up with a phrase that I want to write about because I can feel how the song should go based on this phrase. And I see things as shapes kind of, when I hear something that says, "Oh, I can make a song out of that," I kind of feel how it should go, and I can hear like the guitar playing this main line, and later on, I just kind of carve it out of the big block of stone and make a song out of it, or rock, whichever stone or rock, whichever one.
Speaking of guitars, I'm looking at a few behind you. How many do you have?
I don't know. I don't know. There's what, one, two,
I
three.
see six behind you. Well,
There's
maybe
eight
I
on the
think I see a
wall,
little bit of a.
nine. I got about 10. I got about 10 guitars.
I thought that whole room was like surrounded in guitars.
No, 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 just the back wall.
Okay.
Yeah, in this case, I had a bunch more, but I've sold them. I sell them, I buy them, I sell them, I buy them, I buy them, I sell them to buy them, and whatnot. It's all fluid. There's only a few that are really keepers for me. The green one behind me, that one's never going away. The one next to it, that it's looks black, but it's actually called a copper iridescent. It's a Joe Bonamassa signature guitar. That one's not going anywhere. but for the most part, they're all.
Does one of them say AFYRA on it?
Uh,
Yeah,
where is it? Where'd it go?
that
Oh,
one. I can see
yeah,
one that says AFYRA on it.
that's the fractured guitar. That's my fractured because that's
Okay,
the fractured
cool.
album cover.
That's very cool. You know what impressed me most, which was watching you orchestrate all these different elements, was when you sent me this small little MIDI controller board that you use with Reaper. Reaper is your DAW of choice.
Mhm.
You do all of that with just that MIDI controller. I mean, all those sounds and orchestral stuff.
Yeah, it's just a 49 key keyboard.
Because I know you sent me like a 20-second piece one time. And you just said, because I asked you, what does your studio look like? And you go, oh, it looks like this. And I was just like,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
For some reason, I thought you were like, Rick Wakeman surrounded by keyboards.
yeah. I started with a little Akai. It was about that big, and I don't remember how many keys it had, but less than half the size of the 49 keyboard I have now.
I was like shocked when I saw it. I was just like, wow, you make a lot of sound and beautiful sound that is. I really wish, I mean, I live in Los Angeles. I wish I could find someone I could put your music in front of.
Yeah,
Maybe Joe knows Tangerine Dream personally and we can find out who he contacted.
yeah. There's
I
another
don't
band
know.
that really inspires me is Two Steps from Hell. I don't know if they're still together. It was actually Thomas Bergerson and Nick Phoenix. They get together and they call themselves Two Steps from Hell. And if you look up some of their concert videos, it's just spectacular. I mean, Hans Zimmer is great, but Two Steps from Hell takes it a step above and beyond what Hans Zimmer does, and they for much less
Well,
better.
I'm sure you recall what I wrote in the newsletter last year about a glimmer of Hans Zimmer and having a simmer with a cup of Avira.
Yeah,
I know you called me and was just like, really, Peter? Really? Okay. One might even think of these 10 guitars behind you as, the guitar lady as opposed to the cat lady.
yeah.
Or do you have a lot of cats too?
No, I just got one,
Ah,
just
okay.
one cat.
Yeah, you and Jolene are the only ones living there?
Yeah,
And for someone who is genre nonconforming, you refuse to be boxed in by industry expectations. And in a business that loves to categorize all of us, how do you fare with the algorithm gods, which is of course what this show is all about, developing communities so that my audience can hear your stuff, your audience can hear my stuff, and we can cross promote.
mhm.
How do they deal with well, before you met me, how do the algorithms deal with you? Because I've noticed on some of your songs they don't get a lot of airplay. Some of them get a lot, and then there's like
Yeah,
others that don't.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't. I guess I don't do very well. I kind of thought of myself as playing epic music, which is soundtrack music, game score music. But some of my stuff has elements of jazz or rock and roll or progressive rock. So I'm all over the place. I just play what I want, and basically I create what I want to hear, and I do. I mean, I listen to my music a lot, and it's not because it's a uh,
I think
ego.
we all do. I think we all do as
Yeah,
artists because we want to like kind of think about, all right, well, I did that and I did it that way. I wonder
right.
how I could do it differently.
Yeah.
But I do need my
Well,
AFYRA fix at least once a week.
yeah, and I listen to it, and again, it's not an ego thing, but I listen to it and I say, that's really good. Why aren't people listening to this?
Going into the creative independence part of yourself, you have the main project, AFYRA, and then you have this side project, Viral,
Viral, yes.
spelled VERYL.
No, VEYRL,
V
viral.
E Y R L. And that really kind of shows your incredible range. And I think that when we did, I think was it all? It's all made up. Where you were going to put that on the Virile label? I mean the
The
Viral.
viral, viral, the viral,
Viral.
viral. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I can't. It's
I,
like very.
I don't remember that specifically. I mean, it's kind of possible, but I think it was going to be a little more, not a little less prog rock at the time.
Do you
I
have
think,
a distinction between what a fire does and what Viral does?
yeah, yeah. And viral is my rock and roll side. I've got a lot of stuff I want to work on that side too. which is another thing I need singers for, but that's down the road. I got to get this AFYRA album done before people stop listening to me altogether. Forget who I am.
Well, I'm not going to stop listening to you.
Yeah,
Industry reality. I think we had discussed this morning briefly. We just heard that DistroKid is selling. We won't get
yeah,
too far into that, but that was a little bit disconcerting since we both
yeah.
use them. Speaking of the industry, though, streaming platforms pay artists roughly the equivalent of pocket change these days. And like many indie artists, we both use DistroKid and we hope for the best. But of course, we have to have our own marketing plans. And I'm stepping up my game this year after talking with John of Whiskey Club, John O'Reilly,
Mhm.
who may change his name again. How do you stay motivated to create in this landscape where, Spotify, even Joe mentioned last week that Spotify seems to rule our lives?
Right. Um, my motivation is getting people to listen to it. I'm not going to make a fortune off it, and if that does happen, then great. But my motivation is I want people to hear my music. That's all I want.
I
And
think
I'm
that's what
not
we all want. But it would
right.
be nice. It would be nice to make a buck on in the process.
Well, sure, but I mean, you got to do it because you love it, and you got to do what you love. You can't just well, I'm not saying you can't. People do it all the time. They morph into whatever sells to make money, and I'm not going to do that because I want to make my music. I want to make the music I want to make, and I can't see myself ever selling out from that. Uh, I I love making my music, and it's not about making money. If I don't make another cent from my music, I'm going to be okay. Not great, but I'll be
I
okay.
think when I first met you, we were talking about. I thought, how do you come up with that kind of stuff? And you said, well, it's the kind of stuff that I would want to hear if I were
Yeah,
watching a movie. And
yeah,
I thought that's the answer. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, I'm sure Tangerine Dream does that too.
yeah.
From now on, I don't know. Joe's got it stuck in my head that I'm going to now, refer to both of you interchangeably. A fire, Tangerine Dream. And I know a lot of people know Tangerine Dream. And if you do know Tangerine Dream, listen to a fire and tell me who. They're both right there. Your production quality is consistently outstanding. I mean, I've never heard you
Thanks.
release anything that didn't sound well mixed. How do you achieve that professional polished sound? I mean, are you also adept at being, an audio engineer as well?
The mixing for me is the hard part. I can get the tracks down, but getting it to mix just right is an endless process for me. For example, I shared with you a couple top secret songs earlier, and as you can tell, they're not mixed real well. That's still the rough. And for me, it's a real struggle to get that mixed just right. So I'm sure some of the stuff I've released already could be mixed better. I can't afford to pay somebody to mix it, so I got to do it myself and hope for the best and hope people like what I do. So there's really no, I mean, I can't say that I'm great at it. I do what I have to do. And
Well, I think everybody's better at it than I am. I mean, one of the best in the industry, I think, is Aaron Leet. You probably heard me gush about him a lot. He's been teaching me Studio Pro One. But I remember when you and I started to work together, and you said, don't worry about what DAW you wear. Just do the stem
yeah,
from the beginning, and make those silences. And then there was one thing that you did point out that I had not kept in mind when I was recording, and that was when you were telling me that mixing some of the areas of the dramatic parts, I almost clipped, and then I'm a little kind of quiet, and then I almost clipped, and you
right,
said you did have a bit of a hard time with that. But that was
yeah,
the first time I had ever the Sweet Transvestite song. That was the first time I had ever done, a long distance collaboration.
right,
This whole style of music, this whole music industry,
right,
everything has changed.
yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, when you can do from your home computer what people were doing, 10 years ago or 15 years ago from a studio they paid thousands upon thousands of dollars to rent,
yeah.
plus hiring an engineer and hiring studio musicians. I can do everything I need to do right now, I'm going to say, with the exception of vocals, unless I
I
refuse
won't
to use
comment.
AI
I
for
won't
vocals.
comment on that.
I refuse to use AI for vocals. I'm sure I could, but that's
I don't
my
even know how one would do that. I know a few artists that
yeah.
do.
I don't know, but my music is always going to be human music. I may use AI to help create an album cover or something. It's AI can be used for good instead of evil, and I believe using it for what you can't physically do yourself is a good thing as long as you're not trying to compete in a market that people, like creating AI music. I'm not comfortable with AI music being out there competing with me or anybody else. Uh,
I mean, I agree with you. It's used as a tool. Like, for example, I'm mixing some of my old professionally recorded 24 tracks that were down to a cassette, and I'm taking those cassettes and I'm
mm,
using LALAL.ai to
mm,
split them into as many cells as possible so that
right,
I can put them through, the digitizing process.
right.
And at the same time, which is really cool about it, is that they were recorded in analog.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of like a couple of engineers have said to me, well, not engineers, but musicians who do like yourself engineering at home. They were saying that they want to go back to that analog sound, and it's like, gee, I guess I am. I guess I'm doing this at the right time. Now, do you have a lot of stuff prior to this that you did record in the studio?
No, I've never been in a studio. I did record when I was in the Navy back in the mid 80s. I had, and I had played music since 1978 when I got well, I've been playing music earlier than that, but I got my first guitar, bass guitar in 1978. I've been playing in rock bands pretty much ever since. Well, that's not true, but I started playing my first rock band in 78. And then from there, I got in the Navy and I met up with some guys and we started playing. That's when I first started playing guitar instead of
Was
bass.
that Kevin Smith? That because you said you were in
Kevin
the
Smith was a shipmate of mine, yes. And we did do an album. We called it KMS, which was for Kevin Michael Smith and Kristy McClellan Solution. When I did my own music on the ship, I called my stuff the Solution. The Solution. That was my band, so to speak. I did a lot of recording with a 4-track recorder. And the reason I called it the Solution was because I didn't have a band, therefore doing it all myself was my solution. So, so it was Kristy McClellan Solution and Kevin Michael Smith. KMS is what our thing was.
when you told me that Kevin Smith was going to do the guitar, I thought for a second Kevin Smith as in Dogma Kevin Smith.
Uh,
Yeah, I thought, wow,
yeah,
different Kevin Smith. I
yeah.
mean,
He's a musician in Nashville. He does I won't say a bar band, although I'm sure he plays in bars. I don't know if he's in a band at all right now. I mean, I think they get together from time to time, but I really don't know what the story is on that. So he and I chat from time to time. He's worked on some of my other songs that I don't have released anymore because I wasn't happy with those. If I ever release them again, I'll have to redo them. They were under a different name altogether. They were called Transphoria was the name of the like transphobia, euphoria, transphoria.
okay.
Those songs are on YouTube, by the way, under the name Transphoria. If you do want to
Oh,
look
they
it up.
are on there. Oh, that's
Yeah, not
I
not
didn't even
YouTube
know that.
Music, but just my YouTube channel.
Well, I just gobble up everything you do, so now that I know that, I'm going to remember that and listen to them right after the show.
Yeah.
For our fellow artists out there who are would-be published musicians, what advice would you give to other independent artists who are trying to maintain their artistic integrity, as well as build an audience in today's challenging music landscape? I mean, things have changed.
Yeah. The advice I would give somebody is do what you like what you do it to the best of your ability, share it, if and listen to your own music a lot. And again, we're back to that again. But when I was releasing and getting ready to release Fractured, my third album that we talked about earlier, I would, on the way to and from work, I would play that as MP3 form in my car to and from work, and I would listen to the songs. If I create a new one, I'd listen to it and listen to it and listen to it, and usually coming back and forth from work. And there was things like, oh, that kind of bugs me, this one's too loud. I can't hear this other thing, and I would hear these things, and then I would go back and mix them right.
I've never heard of her. Is she someone?
Yeah, she's kind of in hiding right now. She's not in hiding. She's kind of stepped away from the music stuff right now. I don't know what's going on with her. I have little contact with her. Usually her short and sweet, you know. She did fight cancer a few years back, so I don't know if that's an issue again. I don't want to ask. But yeah, and then I had a guitar player I actually had to pay for AFYRA. This was before I got involved in the community. I hadn't even gotten involved in the community yet. Patrick Grief, she's in a lot of bands. One of them right now is called the Pirate Queens, and they're touring. She's touring with another band right now. We're friends on Facebook, but you know, we don't chat a lot.
Well, in my final appreciation of having AFYRA on the show, we are starting to hear right now the collaboration that we had done together, her original song, It's All Made Up, where I do the vocals and wrote the lyrics. Kevin Smith is on guitar, and the genius behind all of it is Kristy McClellan of AFYRA. Thank you so much for being here today. Oh, Kristy, I can't thank you enough. I mean, you know I've been trying to get you on the show since this thing all started.
I know.
But I know you've been very busy and you've got a lot of collaborations going on, and I've got to get myself into a few more collaborations, and I really appreciate you giving me my start in doing that. I'm actually supposed to be doing one right now with Pro Duvall. We're doing a cover of Cry Little Sister. Again, thank you so much, Kristy, for being here today. Oh God, it's just such an honor. All right, you are listening to Indie Tea, Demos to Discovery, with your host, me, Peter Lancelotti, and our guest today was Kristy McClellan of AFYRA.
Thank you.
Signposts that we knew. All the black has turned to stone. My features, feelings true. It's all made up. Search for so majestic world, made up of special forces, magic motions from a girl. It's all made up in unity, in harmony, and peace will be the then you go higher, a lingering shadow in an alleyway, with a staircase leading nowhere anyway, and a secret in a city that holds sway we admire. On the wire, the city is on fire. And
up